gentlemen, can we have a big round of applause for the 15 finalists who took part? If I'm not mistaken, 10 of them are taking part for the very first time. It's not easy, and I thank you all very much for being courageous. Now I'd like to invite our chief judge to announce who are the 4 finalists.
So those that have called, please step one step forward, please. Number 5. Number 7. Number 8. And number 12, I think.
Thank you, Mr. Vaccarini.
So I will try to explain the best as I can with my English what will happen this afternoon. So every candidate will do the same, exactly the same test from the beginning until the end for about 29 minutes altogether. Let's say 30 minutes at the end. They have a very short time for every test because the judges, they have a special scorecard where they have to point out what they do, all the steps and how many points, and very precisely. And of course, also important is the time on which they do the test. It's very important because we suppose that what they do here is something that they will do one day, or they already do in a restaurant. So it's important that they do quite fast, quite quick, because in a restaurant you don't have only one customer, we have several customers to satisfy, so they have to do it in the best way, as fast as they can, and the best as they can also, the best service that they can. They have to show their knowledge on the practice, in everything that they will do, through the blind tasting, where they don't have to guess which wine or which spirit or what else they're going to test, but they have to describe the product. So through the description, they will try, of course, to understand what it is, where it comes from, the vintage and the typology and so on. They will have also to identify some other beverages in some black glasses. That is more difficult because to find what they are only by the nose, it takes a lot of time, but it takes a lot of exercise, more than time. So if the exercise has been good, the practice has been good, they will find what it is. Otherwise, it will be more difficult to find what is the product. Then they will have to correct a wine list with some mistakes. The wine list is something that is always shown as the menu in a restaurant, and often, very often, there are still mistakes. Mistakes of some letters missing, vintages, wrong wine producers, wrong area of production, wrong appellation. So often, they are like that because there is not a sommelier. When there is a sommelier, this doesn't happen, because a sommelier is always taking care about also the wine list without mistakes. So it's very important that, of course, they need a lot of knowledge because we are talking about the most important wines produced all over the world. So it takes time to memorize all of them, to know all of them. So it's quite a difficult test, this one. And you will see how they will manage to find some errors. Then they will have to make a decantation of red wine. Red wines, sometimes they need to be decanted in a carafe because they need oxygen, more oxygen, because sometimes they are old wines, so they need more oxygen. You have to clarify and make oxygenation to the aromas to make them more fragrant, more nice, more elegant. And sometimes it's just to separate the sediment to the liquid part of the wine. So it's an operation that must be done with a special technique, following special rules, so they have to do it in a perfect way. And also this, it's something that takes time because they have to open a bottle, so uncork the bottle, they have to pour into carafe, they have to taste it, they have to make the service to the customers. So it takes a bit of time and they have to do it in a very short time. Then they have to make a pairing with food. But it's not a real pairing, but it's something that happens in restaurants. Then the customers comes, they've chosen something to eat, so they've seen the menu. So the candidate will have the menu that you will see also there. And the jury, the judge, will ask to make some kind of pairings. We don't know what he's going to ask, but the candidate must make the pairings with different beverages, different wines. So we see the ability in choosing different wines produced in different areas of the world. with, of course, the name of the wine producer, the vintage, the variety, and any information that could be interesting for the customer. Then, after that, oh, sorry, this is not the right order. You have to open and serve a bottle of champagne. Champagne is sparkling wine, of course, and there is a technique to follow to make sure that there are not mistakes, and especially there is not, the cork goes away too fast, making a not nice noise. And you want the sparkling wine must be handled with care, because otherwise all the bubbles, they go away very quickly, and you don't get anything into the glass. So also for this kind of test, the candidate must show how able and how good he is in opening a bottle and make the right service. Well, every time he will be through these tables, he will do all different tests, and I will tell them how many minutes they will have to do to finish their test. And the jury sometimes will make some questions just to make them comfortable, maybe just to see how is their knowledge, and also for you, for the public, that you will understand more and more what is going to happen, and which are the questions that sometimes customers, they make to the sommelier, and which should be the answers that they should give to the clients. So what we are going to do today is something that is on the level, on the international level, is what usually is done on world competition, European competition, American competition, and Asia Pacific competition. It's not something easy, it's something that is quite difficult, and it needs a lot of training before to be on stage, I could say. Training in knowledge and practice. You know that in the world there are only 13 world best sommelier. So it's not many, there are not many. It means that this is very difficult title to reach, I hope one day also in this country. But being a sommelier today, it means make a very interesting profession that is evolving and improving all over the world. So now it's also in Malaysia that's interesting. But the word sommelier itself, it's a French word, because it's the word that is well known all over the world. That's why everybody is using this word. It indicates the person that usually is in charge of the beverages in a restaurant, in a hotel. Well, everywhere there is something to pair with food. So beverages with food. And it's not just, we could say, a waiter pouring wine, but it's somebody that must have a knowledge, a deep knowledge for all the beverages. So not only wine, of course. It means also spirits, liqueurs, beers, and anything that could be served on a table, so everything that could be in a gastronomical context. So a sommelier is in charge of these beverages. He has to run a wine cellar. He usually has also some assistants. He is able to buy beverages, so to understand the quality of these beverages and buy them in comparing to the price, of course, because it's very important also the price. And he is able to run all these beverages to make sure that there is changing of the stock in the wine cellar, so not always the same wines that are sold and others that they stay there for a long time. This is a very important job because it makes the sommelier exercise his palate on finding the best product for the best food to pair. You know, it's not the same all over the world. In some countries, food are different, cuisine is not the same, and people, they like maybe other beverages, not only wine. So this, the ability of the sommelier to understand who is in front of him, which kind of customers, what he wants. So psychologically, he has to know the psychology of the customers and try to make always the best suggestion for the best matching with, between beverage and food.
Chief judge.
And I said that blind tasting is not, the finality is not to recognize exactly only the name of the wine, of course. It's important to make the description and then to find, if you find the wine, of course, is much better because it means that the sommelier has understood exactly which kind of wine is going to taste. When I did my work competition, I had 5 different wines, and I had the chance, I found all of them. Also, which were, no, sometimes you must be lucky, otherwise it's not possible to win a competition. Anyway, I found all of them. It was quite good because all the other sommeliers, they didn't find almost all of them. So it happens. If you are lucky, you have a wine that you know already, so it's easy to find. And but I have to say thanks to the French people because I used to work in France for few years, and I met somebody that made me clear how to taste wines and how to find them. So it was for me so evident that a wine, when you taste a wine, you have to find what it is, that when I did the competition, I found all of them very easy. But I know that for some sommelier it's not easy, because either they don't have exercise, either they never tasted some kind of wines. It's not easy also to find all the varieties in the world. I had also the chance that before the world competition, I worked for a few years in England, and in England there was a really huge choice of different wines from the world. So it was the right place to go to taste all the wines, because for me it was not possible to travel around the world to taste all the wines. Nowadays, some sommeliers that they present themselves to the international competitions, they travel all around the world to try all the wines, so to visit the wine producers and try all the wines. So of course it's much easier to memorize all these kind of wines, because once you see the wine producer, you understand also the philosophy of the wine, how he makes the wine, and how to remember it. So I could say it's much easier. But anyway, it was quite well, because the world competition, since started in 1969, it hasn't changed a lot. I mean that all the tests are almost all the same. What has increased is the level of difficulty, of course, because there are more and more sommeliers competing. And there are the rules that everybody has to follow, exactly as he has to do and has to know about the profession. And I could say that something else has changed. When I did it, it was more for the passion to do something, the passion for being a sommelier, to work as a sommelier, and just I won a competition, finished. Nowadays, anybody that wins an international competition becomes a star, a real star. So he's on newspapers, television, he gets better jobs, more money, of course. So everything changes. It changes completely his life. That's why anybody that goes to the world competition has to prepare to win, but not only win, he has to prepare what he will do after the competition, because that is more difficult to manage. So if he is able to manage the after competition, he will be, certainly, it means that he will be a great sommelier. Sorry. So I have to explain you how to do the test, the different tests. Okay. You will start the blind tasting. Okay. Blind testing, you have to be very clear and very precise with the words. Mm-hmm. So for example, don't say maybe it is, maybe it's not. Mm-hmm. You have to say it is this, is this, is this. Otherwise, the judge will ask you why you didn't say something clear, because otherwise you can't have the right judgment. So for the wines, you have to make the description. You can start for any of them. Of course, there is a logical way to taste, so you have to find out which one it is, but usually it's from the left to the right. And then you have 3 beverages in these black glasses. You have to identify what they are, so where they come from, the brand, and you can say their name, the right name. It's not necessary to taste them. You can taste if you want, but you don't have to make the tasting as you do for the wine.
Just the 3.
The 3, what they are. Yeah. Is that clear?
Quite clear.
So for doing this kind of test, you will have altogether 12 minutes. That it means 3 minutes for each wine, so 9 minutes, and then another 3 minutes for the identification of the 3 beverages. Altogether, 12 minutes. Is that clear?
12 minutes, so 1 minute each for the spirits.
Yes, anyway, after the wines, after 9 minutes, I will tell you, you have only 3 minutes left.
And when the clock starts ticking, once I touch the glass, or when?
When you say me every time for each test. When you are ready, I will start the clock.
Okay. But when I start pouring my water, do you start there?
No, the water is outside the test, of course. Sure. Then you will have down there on the table down there with the 2 people, you will have to do the champagne service. Sure. So open a bottle of champagne and serve it, and you will have 3 minutes. But I will repeat every time how many minutes you will have for each test. Then you will have to correct the wine list with some mistakes, and you will have again 3 minutes. Then you will have a menu pairing, red wine decanting first. Okay. 5 minutes. 5 minutes to do the decanting and the service. And then for last test, you will have the menu pairing with 6 minutes. And so every time I repeat, I will tell you how many minutes you will have. And be prepared, because judges, they might make you some questions.
Sure.
Okay? Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Just so I'll
let you know when I'm ready.
Give the microphone. You have the microphone. Okay.
Okay, I'm ready. Okay, wine number 1, white wine. White wine, it is clean, there's no sediment, no bubble. Just a light spritz in it, very, very fine. Day bright, light concentration. The color is straw yellow with a very little variation on the rim. On the side, it's showing the wine is evolving, not too young. The wine has a medium minus viscosity. The nose is quite medium intensity on the nose. It is clean, there's no defects. On the nose, it's still showing a primary aromas. You got a lot of light citrus character, lime, lemon, even touch of a green apple. There's a pear as well. It's a bit more of the Chinese water pear. It's not really the Port William. The nose is still block. I mean, it's not very expressive, but very fresh fruits. You still get a little bit of the minerality in it. There's some stone minerality. There's no signs of oak. On the secondary aroma, I get a little bit of a grassiness, but not too much of it. A lot of green apple skin. There's no oak. Okay. Wine is a bit more evolved on the palate. It's a dry, light is medium body. On fruit, the fruits on the palate come from the nose. You have a bit more of the pear, but a bit more ripened style. The touch of oiliness, waxiness on the palate as well. It's almost like a little touch of honeycomb, but very, very mild, but still on the drier side. Still you get a little bit of a citrus, but it's a bit more pronounced now. You got a bit more of the candied orange touch of it, but still the fresh, but not so much on the lime, but a bit more riper orangey style. On the secondary aroma, I got a little touch of on the palate, it suggests a little bit of oak on it, but I don't think so. Even if it's an oak, it should be a big barrel, which impart very little flavor. A little minerality in it. Finish is medium finish. Alcohol is medium plus. It's a bit more warmer. There's no tannin, and the body is medium. The finish is a bit more medium plus. A nice lingering finish, maybe most probably because the acidity is quite fresh. The wine is evolving, maybe 1 to 3 years old, from New World. I'm sorry, I take it back. It will be old world, but a bit more warmer climate. It's probably a single or two varietal blend. My final conclusion is most probably a 2008. It's a Sauvignon Blanc blend. Most probably more on the Sauvignon Blanc from Bordeaux, Pesalonan 2008 quality level entry. Next wine. The wine is clean. There's no sediments. It's bright, medium minus intensity. The color will be light cherry red with a light rim variations moving almost brown, but it's not. It's almost like red cherries. It's in transition on the side. The wine is evolving. It's a medium plus viscosity. The nose is clean, medium intensity on the nose. The wine is evolving, it's maturing on the nose. Fruits are a bit more finer. You get a bit more of strawberry, raspberry, not so much on the darker fruits, but a bit more like riper raspberry, strawberry, cranberry even. But you got a touch of plum coming through at the back. You get a little, very classic, a bit of the cedar and tobacco as well. Also a little bit of dry fruit characters coming through, but not so much. It's more like a plum. It's like a prune, like plum, prune, that kind of aroma, but not so much on the dry fruits. There's a lot of minerality on the medium minerality. It's little sign of oak in it as well, a touch of vanillin, little touch of a very hint of anise in it. I also even get a little brioche kind of a bit of butter, but not too much. On the nose, this wine is very complex. Wine is dry, medium plus body. On the palate, it's beautiful, it's coming together. Although you have a little bit of the red fruits, but the plums are a bit more showy. Like a lot of prunes on the palate, but it's not a very dry prune, but it'll be more like a hot cooked plums actually. A lot of other fruits coming as well. A little touch of cassis, a little touch of raspberries, but all of this more like a bit more riper style of raspberry, not the tangy acidic type. The secondary taste. Fruits are very fresh, got nice juicy tannin in it as well. Wines is dry, medium plus body. Alcohol is medium plus. There's a bit more iron alcohol, but the fruits are bringing up the alcohol very, very well. The tannin is medium. The finish is medium as well. The complexity, I would say, is medium plus. I quite like this wine. The first wine, I go with the first wine. Something like I recommend maybe lightly seared scallop, which is just a little bit of citrus dressing. Where the second one, something maybe a grilled veal rack, but not much sauce. Maybe a little touch of cranberry sauce with the veal rack, which is perfect. It's the season now, and with a little lightly roasted mushroom. Third wine, a little touch of spritziness in it. Beautiful color. There's almost a gold yellow with rim variation. Wine's evolving as well. With a medium, wine is bright with medium intensity. The color is beautiful. Light yellow moving towards gold with an almost neutral age rim. Medium plus to high viscosity. I would say medium. I would say it's medium plus. On the nose, you got a lot of honeycomb. Beautiful, it's clean. No defects. You got a lot of apricot, ripe cherry, marmalade. But primary aromas is in terms of fruits. You got ripe apricot, peach. Peach is a bit more showy. May I know the time? Wait a minute. Okay, on secondary aroma, you're getting a bit more of the honey and with touch of with a very sweet. It's almost like a dried orange skin, a very oriental style. I mean, it's not indicating the age of the wine, but it's a little hint of a bit more dry skin of orange, or even touch of kumquat on the nose. Actually, a bit more ripened style. Okay. There's a lot of minerality, there's a sign of oak in it, and on the nose is give you a little bit of the sugary aroma, which might indicate of the sweetness later on the palate. Beautiful wine. While I savor the wine, I'll go back to the second wine, which I think it's a wine from 1 to 3 years old, from Newer. I think it's a Merlot from most probably from South America. Vintage 2007. Merlot, I was torn between a Carmenere or Merlot, but I think it's most likely from a cool climate, not too warm, Merlot from Chile, via Colchagua Valley. And come back to the wine, it's beautiful, it's opening up on the palate. A lot of sweetness is coming through. It's sweet, medium plus body, a lot of richness in it, but same time acidity is medium high, so it lifts out the wine perfectly. And
3 minutes left.
Okay. In terms of fruits, I get a lot. Again, it's repetition on the nose. You got a lot of riper cherry. Marmalade is showing a bit more, and there's no tannin. Complexity is medium plus. The finish is high. I love this kind of style. I think maybe it's most likely a sweet wine from Loire Valley, maybe Côte du Lion, vintage 2009. I'm sorry, it should be around 2007. So I'm leaning towards maybe more Chenin Blanc. I think it's a Jägermeister or a bitter Jägermeister, I'll say bitter. If I go for Jägermeister, it's in between bitter or liquor because the sugar is quite high. This is come back to it. Number 2, number 3. I think the third one is a rum, and the second one is rum, maybe a reposado. I think the second one is whiskey, maybe blended 12 years. I still got any more time? 1 more minute, okay. And the sweet wine, perfectly, I would highly recommend a very classic creme brulee, but not too heavy on the custard, but lightly with little fresh fruits, like maybe a raspberry or strawberry, give nice acidity, go very well with the acidity from the wine as well. Okay.
Now you will have 3 minutes for champagne service.
Okay.
Just have a look and tell me when you are ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, go.
Good evening. Welcome to Senja restaurant. I believe my colleague just told me that I ordered a bottle of champagne. Shall I go ahead and serve the champagne for you? Do you have any preference in terms of glassware? Do you prefer classic flute, or do you mind a slightly broader glass? It's a beautiful champagne that you have ordered. Flute is perfect, sure. May I know we're having the pleasure of tasting the wine today? Blueberries. Champagne Nicolas Feuillet, Ruiz of Particulier. The wine is champagne is well chilled, so I'll open from the table. Please allow me to taste the champagne. Enjoy champagne now. Shall I put it in the basket? I spaghetti for you.
So tell me, what is Champagne Blanc de Blanc?
Blanc de Blanc basically means white of the white. There's a couple of varietals that qualifies for that, like a Chardonnay. There's also some very minor varietal in Champagne, which is like Arbein and such. But usually when it says Blanc de Blanc in the bottle, it means 100% Chardonnay.
Okay, next. What would you recommend for rosé champagne?
My personal favorite?
Yes, any personal recommendations
Okay,
for
something
food?
that I sell quite a bit in the restaurant. I have a beautiful wine from Buzi.
The food pairing for rosé champagne.
It's a pairing, right?
Yes.
Okay, if you're ordering a bottle of rosé, I highly recommend something a bit more richness in it. Of course, a Blanc de Blanc will be perfect. If I suggest a Blanc de Noir, which is made from some 100% Pinot Noir from Buzi, which is go very well with items, maybe a little toast with Iberico ham, and just a touch of slightly roasted capsicum by the side, just to give it the spiciness, and the Iberico ham without any preparation on it, so it's pure, it's quite tasty. A little touch of oiliness will go very, very well with the rosé.
Okay, thank you.
Now, for the next test, you will have to correct the wine list with some mistakes. And you will have, again, 3 minutes.
Okay.
So this time, this test is quite new,
Okay.
almost new. You don't have to find mistakes everywhere.
Okay.
You will have 10 wines, but you have to find only 5 mistakes and make 5 corrections.
Okay.
So not only find the mistake, but you have also to say which is the right correction.
Okay, sure.
Is it right?
Yeah.
Understood? Clear?
Where is it?
So you can read on this paper, and the public you can read from there.
Okay.
So
I'll
when
go
you are
through the-
ready,
from the
I give you the paper,
Yeah.
and I start to count the minutes. 3 minutes.
Sure.
I will not say anything else.
Okay.
Ready?
Ready.
Go.
Chateau Palmer 82 is a third growth, not the second, not Duzim. Grand Cicel Laurent Perrier is not a vintage, it's a non-vintage. Vacheron Sancerre. Personally, I've only seen the white, but I will go with the white wine. It's just Sancerre, not the Rouge. There's a small underscore between Pelleroux Chardonnay and Marlborough. Number 8. It's not a Shiraz. It's a blend. It's the wrong spelling on this notebook. Neckenheim Rothenburg is not Rheinessen. Number 9. It's not released yet, it's 2010. It is released. Sorry, I'll stick to. If not served Cloudy Bay. Cloudy Bay, I think Pelleroux is a sparkling wine. It's a blend. This one.
Okay, stop. 3 minutes. Thank you. So for the next test, on this table, we are in your restaurant if you want. You have 4 people, and we'll show you the menu that they're going to have. So they will ask you some wines, and you will see what they will ask. And you will have for this test 6 minutes.
This is a food and wine pairing.
Yes, food and wine pairing.
Okay. Good evening, welcome to restaurant Vaccarini. It's an amazing restaurant. I believe Chef Vaccarini has proposed a couple of dishes, and I believe all of you will be enjoying a wine pairing with each courses. The first one, warm baked aubergine with goat cheese and spinach. It's a beautiful dish. This is more on a starter's canapé size, but the cheese and the aubergine is the highlight. I have a beautiful cava from Penedès. It's a house called Sumaroca Grand Reservoir 07, which is drinking beautifully. It's blend of Paraleda with a touch of a Chardonnay as well. It will lift up, cut through the richness of goat cheese and lift up the greenness of the spinach. And the warm baked aubergine will go very well with the roundness of the sparkling wine, which is a cava. There's 3 types of dim sum following then. Char siu pao, prawn dumpling, and something very special. It's a surprise from the chef, pot sticker. I myself have not heard about it, but I'm very sure this will be very nice. But the char siu pao and prawn dumpling, I have a beautiful rosé that we are going to pair it for this dish. It's a bit challenging because the chassis power and prawn is a little bit different in texture. But I have a very nice, not too light rosé, beautiful from Joro. Ours is better known for the port wine, Quinta Ventazelo, which they also make a very small selection of their rosé. A bit more richness. It's a blend of Touriga Nacional and the Tinta Roriz. More rounder, richer, but amazingly, there's very nice acidity to uplift the fruit, the food. The next dish will be a pasta made with egg with stuffed rabbit, Parmesan cheese, and chef trowel, which is in season now. I'll highly recommend something a very light style of a Pinot Noir to go with it. This is a beautiful house called Mount Difficulty in Central Otago, which is better known for the intensity and richness. But I'm going for the second label called Roaring Mac, which is more softer, more elegant, nice acidity, a lot of purity, which will go very well with the stuffed rabbit. We will not overpower the pasta, and the truffle will just open up a bit more. There's a little touch of earthiness, which will always complement the chef truffle. And we have a turbo with a red wine sauce, which I'll do a nice it will be a nice comparison to go for another Pinot Noir. But instead of that, I'll go to a Rhone Valley, a Côte du Rhône, a very simple but elegant Grenache base, a recent vintage of Côte du Grenache base from Roger Sabon vintage 2009. Beautiful. Same vintage as the Roaring Mac from Central Otago, 2009. And it has a very elegant style. Sometimes I feel it goes very well with some sardines or even light seafood. In this case, with the red wine sauce and the white truffle, it opens up a bit more. Cheese platter, blue cheese, Gorgonzola, and Roquefort. Perfect, my three favorites. Especially with the Roquefort. I recommend a bit more sweeter wine, but again, I don't want you something not too rich for yourself. I have this beautiful variety called Semling from Burgenland, Austria. Late hours, but Anshida, vintage 2006. Nice richness in it. At the same time, it's not too overly cloying. Beautiful acidity. The whole cuisine is light, so I mean, when I pair with the food today, my core point is actually the acidity. At the same time, it's quite tricky because the truffle season is here. There's quite a reputation. So also looking for something a little touch of earthiness in it. Then the last one is very, very interesting. Black sesame paste Chinese pancake with vanilla ice cream. This is something that I will recommend with a very nice sherry, but it's a very unique sherry by Emilio Lustav, East India's Solera, by Palomino. Beautiful, nice oxidative style, a bit more nutty, but sweetness, but not overly cloying. Again, another one, something with nice perked up with some acidity will go very, very well with a black sesame paste. That's my recommendation today. Okay. I'll go for something very, very, very elegant. I have a beautiful style, a very simple wine, always overlooked. A wine may make a base in Gevrey Chambertin. It makes a beautiful Bourgogne, purity, elegant style Pinot Noir, vintage 2005, about wine's Bourgogne level, but the wine is still evolving beautifully. Pierre Nagent, 2006, Pinot Noir, elegant style. And it's a little touch of earthiness, I go very well, and the acidity is showing still. It's one of the underdogs in Burgundy, and all his grapes are sourced from one single vineyard, but he declassifies wine as a Bourgogne. That's what I recommend.
And my VIP guest here, he don't drink alcohol. Can you recommend for him a pairing beverages, non-alcohol beverage?
Definitely.
He's from China.
Ah, you only drink Lhasa maybe. Okay. Do you have any dietary restriction apart from alcohol? Okay, I have I have a very interesting cocktail that just made by the barman today. I have this, which very good. I mean, initially it surprised me as well. It's basically apple juice with some soda, some mint. The apple juice gives a lot of character to it. Little sugar syrup and lime juice as well. A lot of flavors.
Okay, stop.
Yeah.
Thanks. So next test will be the decanting. So same customer, same table. Now they're going to have a red wine, so you have to decant it.
Okay.
And you will have again, no game. You will have 5 minutes to do everything.
Everything, yeah?
Everything, yes.
I'm not ready yet.
Okay.
I'm not ready yet. Okay.
Okay, ready? Go.
Mr. Drevon, this is Peter Kum from Beerzo Vintage 2007. I'll go ahead and decant the wine for you. The time, sir. It's a beautiful car in a good condition. Please allow me to try the wine. Beautiful wine, great vintage from our area quite near to Ribera del Douro, and rarely seen. This is something that we got a very small allocation, and I'm decanting the wine, but the main purpose is not to remove the sediment, just but to at the same time to aerate the wine a bit more. And the wine is just slightly chill. I think the temperature was around 14. At the same time, I'm warming up the wine a little bit more. Ideally, we best serve around 17 to 18 Celsius. There's a little space constraint on the table. If you don't mind, I'll just leave the bottle on the trolley away. Chef, have a beautiful dish. I can see that you have not ordered your meal yet. With this wine, I'll highly recommend a very nice braised short ribs and beef tenderloin, a duo of it with some Madeira sauce, with some beautiful parsnip puree. Parsnip in season now, and a little toasted, roasted mushrooms, actually, a seasonal mushroom. Okay.
Can we decant all the wine? I mean, can we decant some champagne, some white wine? Or?
Definitely. There's a couple, three reasons why wine is.
Okay, stop.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
So you have finished all the tests now, and thanks for finishing.
That's all?
Finished, that's all, yes.
Thank you so much.
You can have a rest now.
Thank you.
I'm sorry if I have to interrupt the candidates sometimes, but time is time, so we can go over. Now we will repeat. We wait for the next candidate, and we repeat exactly the same, the test for the second one, third one, and the fourth one.
Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together to welcome candidate number 2.
So I'm going to explain you which will be our test today.
Okay.
So you will start down there with the blind tasting. You will have 3 wines and 3 beverages, so we don't know what they are. And you will have altogether 12 minutes. After 9 minutes, so it means 3 minutes per wine, more or less, I will tell you there will be 3 minutes left, so you will know where you are.
Okay.
Then you pass on the side, and you will have a champagne test. You have to serve a bottle of champagne in 3 minutes. And after the 3 minutes, you will have some questions from the jury.
Okay.
Then you will have to correct the wine list. Another 3 minutes. Then you come back from this side to this table, and you will have to pair menu pairing.
Menu pairing. So
you will have 6 minutes again with some questions. And at the end, you will have the decanting 5 minutes.
5 minutes decanting.
And sometimes you will have some questions again.
Sure.
Is it clear?
Yeah, clear.
So you can go there, and when you are ready, you tell me. I will start with the timer. Okay, go.
Okay, the wine is clear, pale yellow to a whitish hue. Wine is fresh. The viscosity is medium. It's a very pronounced of a stone fruit character, citrusy, of the lemon and guava and green apples. On the palate. On the palate, the wine is dry. Of course, the stone fruit character, as I've been told earlier, like the green apple, the citrus. The acidity is high. The alcohol is medium minus. There's no oak presence. There's the finishing. The finishing is medium. It's a very. The intensity is okay. It's moderate intensity. It's not the. It's from a cool climate area. I would say this is a Riesling from a cool climate area, particularly from a newer country, like from Clare Valley Riesling. Is from Australia. Vintage will be a little bit more old, for let's say it's like 2006 and 2007. I'll proceed to the next rate. The color is ruby red with the more to a very light red hue. The viscosity is high. The wine is clean, star bright, very high intensity, very complex on the nose. It's a red fruit character, more to cherry plum character. A touch of the oak, very flowery base as well. Herbs, a bit spice. The wine is clean. It's dry. It's a very cherry, very plummy character. It's a touch of like a red fruit character of strawberries. The tannin is low. The alcohol is medium. The acidity is medium plus. I would say this is like a Burgundian wine from France, particularly from the Côte d'Ivoire area. vintage will be 008. Yeah, I'll go for the wines. The wine is clean. A little bit of the presence of the effervescence inside. The viscosity is high on the nose. It's very complex, very ripe, ripe fruit character, dry apricots, honey, some dry almond as well. On the palate, the wine is sweet. There's a lot of character of the dry apricot and characters. It's a full body wine. The alcohol is low. Acidity is actually medium minus. I'll say the wine is from. Definitely it's a sweet wine. It's a late harvest, I guess. It's from from a very moderate climate as well. I'll say this is a vintage tardive from Alsace, a late harvest Gewürztraminer. The finishing is quite long. It's a very good quality wines. I'll go for the beverage. Do I need to tell the... Yeah. Do I need to tell the brand? This is a liqueur from Italy. He has very herbaceous character. A lot of infused from herbs and some nuts character. I'll say this is like an aperitif, like always been served. It's either a Campari or Martini Rosso, but they don't have the orange presence. So I would say this is a Martini Rosso. Yeah, from I'll skip the producer. The fourth one, I would say this is like the wine. The liquor is actually very full-bodied. It has a character of the caramel, some oak, a lot of the caramel character, of course. I would say this is like a cognac, yeah, a brandy. Particularly the brand, maybe a Hennessy, the labeling will be maybe a VSOP. The last one, the wine is, the liquor is quite heavy on the side.
3 minutes left.
This is very herbaceous on the nose. You can find a hazelnut character inside. It's heavy. It's not sweet. Also, this is like a Frangelico because it has a hazelnut character inside, but it is not that full-bodied as I. The wine is the liquor is actually a bit more herbaceous in aromas.
Come this side. So you have a table with your customers and you have to do a full champagne service. And at the end, they will ask you some questions. Okay? So have a look here, what there is. And when you're ready, tell me.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the champagne. Oh, okay. Right.
Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Go.
Good afternoon. Can I serve you this champagne now? Okay. This is the Nicholas Fouillade champagne. Good. Try champagne, Professor.
What is Champagne Blanc de Blanc?
Champagne Blanc de Blanc is actually made of 100% Chardonnay. It's 100% Chardonnay. Yeah.
What would you recommend with, what food would you recommend with rosé champagne?
Rosé champagne. We actually recommend something from the Chinese cuisine as well. Maybe a Beijing duck. We usually go with some Chinese dim sum. Because, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So now you will have 3 minutes to find 5 mistakes and make the correction. So 5 mistakes and correction to a wine list of 10 wines.
10 wines. 3 mistakes.
5 mistakes.
5 mistakes. Okay.
So
Okay.
usually it was for 1 wine, 1 mistake. Now it's only 5 mistakes on 10 wines.
So the correct one, I won't do anything. Just leave it. Okay.
Yeah, you have to find which are the correct, which are not the correct, of course. So you have 3 minutes to find mistakes and make the right correction.
Okay.
I'll give you the list when you're ready.
Okay, sure.
Ready?
Yeah, ready.
Here it is.
Wine number one is okay. Wine number one is okay. Wine number two on the Cloudy Bay Pelorus Chardonnay. There's actually underscore on Marlborough, but the underscore is actually is wrong. So no underscore. The Disnoco is correct. Rochefort Shiraz is not from Macedon Ranges. It should be from South Australia. Yep. Chateau Palma is not second cru. It's not Dism cru. It's third grow. So should be Trism cru. Yeah. Fattora Zabina, Petria Mora is not from Toscana. It's actually from Piedmont. Wine number 8 is correct. Wine number 1, a Sancerre Rouge, Loire. You add on one more, a Loire Valley, France. 1998 Pago Leco, Tinta del Pais, Ribera del Duero, they have their own Pago Dio. It's not from Ribera del Duero. Oh, I think it's okay. Yeah.
Okay, in time. So next test with the pairing with the menu. There you have 4 customers in your restaurant. I will give you the menu, and then when you are ready, we'll start for 6 minutes, and you will have also some questions into the 6 minutes. Okay, so.
Hi, good afternoon. For the wine pairing for the food, the one baked aubergine with ghost cheese and spinach. I'll recommend something which is a bit more higher in acidity, particularly a Sauvignon Blanc from New Zealand. I would say a Cloudy Bay Sauvignon Blanc from recent vintage, like 2010. A bit more acidic, and they actually quite easygoing wines for the baked aubergine. They have the acidity to cut off some of the oiliness in it. For the 3 types of dim sum, the pot sticker, the char siu pao, and the prawn dumpling, I'll recommend a sparkling wine to go with the dim sum instead. You have a char siu pao, which is made of dove, and inside there will be meat, which is a sweet one. There will be sweet taste on the meat, and the prawn dumpling is actually quite light. They actually they're actually steamed, and they're actually quite light, and the flavor is not that so powerful. A Chardonnay, a champagne from maybe a slightly a bit heavier style Chardonnay. A heavier style champagne, maybe a Wolf Clicquot champagne, just a normal Wolf Clicquot Poseidon champagne. It will actually go well with the steamed dim sum to actually cut off some of the roughness of the char siu pa and the pot stickers. For agnolotti, it's a pasta. You serve with chef truffle and parmesan cheese on top. I will go with a classic Italian wine, a Barolo, particularly from a very good producer, maybe a Pure Cesare Barolo. Vintage, I'll give it a try for vintage 1997 for this pasta with egg and stuffed rabbits. The body of the Barolo is actually getting mellower on this vintage on this year, and they're actually much more to the cheddars and also the plums character of the wines, and also the earthiness and the minerality. They can actually goes well with the egg and in chef truffles. For the tubo with red wine sauce and white truffles, tubo. Okay, this is actually okay. Tubo will be a bit more. It's a flat fish, a bit more oiliness in it with the red wine sauce together and chef white truffle. I guess it will go well with particularly from Australian Cabernet. Yeah. Sorry. It will go well with a Pinot Noir. Sorry. With a white truffle. I'll recommend something from Nigeria, Chambatan, France. The producer will be maybe a JJ Conferon, Jerry Chambatan. You go well with the red wine sauce as well as the tubo, because the tubo doesn't have a lot of proteins, and the fats they actually have a very low tannins wines, and the character of the wines is like strawberry and cherry character. They actually go well with tubo. For a cheese platter,
any particular vintage for the
JJ Conferon? Recent year they have been good in 2002. Yeah, I recommend a 2002 Pinot Noir for that. For cheese platter, the blue cheese, Gorgonzola and Ruffle, they are all a very heavier style cheese. I say especially the blue cheese and the Ruffle. Of course, I will go for a classic pairing. I will go with the Sauternes, but today I'll try to make it something out from the Sauternes. It's also something more heavier style in body. I'll go for Oremus, Tocach, particularly 5 Putoños, not 6 Putoños, because 6 Putoños are a bit more sweet. 5 Putoños will be a bit more elegant, and you can actually go with, well with the blue cheese. For the black sesame paste Chinese pancake, I like this. The Chinese pancake, they're actually deep fried, very thin, very crispy. Served with the vanilla ice cream. I would say I'll go with something a bit more heavier in style, particularly a vintage pot. I will serve with the 2000 Taylor's vintage pot. For that, with the vanilla ice cream. Yeah.
And we don't want to drink so much today. Can you recommend only one wine for the menu?
One wine for the whole menu?
Yeah, for the whole menu. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I will actually go. I would like to go with something which is easier going. The wine that I like to recommend to the guests. I particularly like something from the Burgundy side. Maybe a Chambour Musigny, a wine of.
So thanks for this. Now you're going to do the last test. So you will have the same table, same customers.
Yep.
You have to do decant red wine, bottle of red wine, in 5 minutes. So decant and do the service.
Okay.
You have to rush.
Oh, this standard?
Then check in. When you are ready, tell me. Ready? Okay, go.
Mr. Julian. This is really the Pitacum dessert because it's a lambic decanter wine from Malaysia. Let me taste the wine before, sir. That's fine. Can I taste the wine first?
One question for you. Can we decant all the type of wine? Like, can we decant some champagne, some white wine as well? Is it possible?
From my experience, I actually decanted white wine before, particularly a young Chablis and also a very old vintage white wines from the Sasan Montrachet or Pouligny Montrachet, particularly also the Grand Cru of the wines. Some of them are they are white, they're young, so we actually decant it to give the aromas and let them give. Yeah, but not all the wines that we actually can decant it.
And for the old Burgundy, like you said, for the white, is it for the same reason? For the old, I mean, for back vintage of white Burgundies, where we can decant.
Okay, because there are actually some.
To stop it. So finished. Thank you very much. You finished your test. You can leave it and you can go to sit down.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome candidate number 3.
So I will explain you what you have to do today. You have some tests. The first one will be blind tasting with 3 wines and 3 beverages. Altogether 12 minutes. So it means 9 minutes for the wines and 3 minutes for the beverages. After the 9 minutes, if you go over, of course, I will tell you 3 minutes left. Okay, so we know that we will have only 3 minutes. Speak louder and clear for the jury, of course. And you have to describe the wines and identify the beverages. Okay. Then you will have 3 minutes on the table to open and serve a bottle of champagne. And then you will have some questions at the end. Then again, you will have 3 minutes for correction of a wine list. Okay? Then you come back on the side and you will have to pairing some wines to a menu with 6 minutes. And at the end, decanting a bottle of red wine, 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Okay? So I will not say anything, never. So don't look at me, look at the public. So now we can go there to the table.
Sure. Hello.
When you feel ready, tell me, I will start the timer.
Yep.
Ready? No. Okay, go.
Wine number 1. The appearance, the wine seems to be clean and star bright in color. So I would say it's medium intensity. Straw pale in color, straw pale golden in color. And there's a broad watery rim on the appearance. And on the nose, the nose is clean and it has a medium plus intensity, which gives a lot of fruit characteristics. And I would say predominantly fruits, an indication of a young wine. So tropical fruits, I would say, slightly more to the mangoish. You get a little bit of lychee characteristic. There is a tinge of sweet spice like cinnamon, cloves. There's very minimal indication of oak, I would say. So let's proceed to the tasting. Sweetness level is dry. Acidity would be medium high, and I would say there's no evidence of tannins. Alcohol level would be medium plus with a very nice warm sensation. I would say it has a very reasonably body intensity, and I would say the main flavor characteristics which I actually got, it also reflects to the nose characteristic. So it's more to the tropical fruits, which there is lychee, mango. There's some stone fruits also. Ripe peaches and pear, and I would say there's a tinge of citrus fruits, lemon zesty, and I would say in generally it has a medium plus intensity. Overall, in the initial conclusion, I would say that this wine it's acceptable. It would be actually from the New World region. If I would choose a grape variety from it, I would choose a Gewürztraminer, and it would be slightly from the warmer regions. I would choose South Africa, and if I would use any glass for this, I would use a slightly white wine glass. And if I would pair with any food for this wine, I would go something a little bit more local food, slightly spiced, like a tom yum gong or tom yum soup would be really nice with the sweet edge of it. So there is also at the end of it now I still get a little bit of rose petal. On wine number 2. The appearance is clean and has a medium plus intensity. Hello, and I would say it would be ruby, clear bright ruby in color, with very significant rim versus core. So there's a little bit more darker ruby in color in the core, and I would say there's a slightly tinged ruby in color on the rim. So there's tears evidence, and On the nose, the nose is clean with medium plus intensity. Still, I would say it's a young wine. I would say it would be more predominant on the fruit characteristic. Red fruit characteristic, for example, red cherries, currants. There's a slight plummy prunes character, slightly sweetish, a little bit sweet damson feel of character. There's an evidence of oak. I would say more to the newer oak, vanillin. You get a little bit of buttery, slightly oaky character, but not much. It's still indication of a very young, yet to start developing wine characteristic. On the sweetness level, it's dry. Acidity level, I would say it would be medium high. Tannin level, it would be medium. And I would say the alcohol level would be reasonably medium. And in terms of the body, the body and the body intensity would be medium to medium high. It has a very ripened fruit characteristics. For instance, more to the red fruit characteristics. Red plums, especially red prunes, and I would say it indicates a very warm climatic regions from the palate. You also have an indication of oak. There's a slight cedar box, which is slightly different compared to the nose that I've just actually tasted. I would think on the palate, it would be a little bit more to the French oak, slightly more cedar wood box in style. If I would choose a wine characteristic, if I would choose an old or newer wine, I would actually say it's a newer wine. Newer wine, if it would be a grape variety, it would be 100% grape variety. I would say it would be a Merlot base, but it's from a hotter region and should be from it is from Australia, I would say, from Coonawarra, a Merlot base. On the third wine, sorry, if I would pair with any food with this one, I would actually choose with a local food, something a little bit more red meat in character. So if I would choose a Peking duck with a very nice dry pepper sauce would be very nice with this one. And if I would use a much more bigger glass, a much more standard Scotch Riesel red wine glass to let it aerate and breathe. The age of the wine, it would be in between 2007 and 2008. On the third wine, the appearance is very good. Appearance, it's clean, and it has broad watery first. On the nose, the nose is clean. The condition with medium plus intensity, more to the higher intensity. It has a very sweet note characteristics. I would say there's a lot of secondary fruit flavors, more dry fruit flavors. For example, Saujana, you get more raisiny feel. There's a tinge of orange blossoms. There's an indication of developing for the wine.
Three minutes to go.
On the sweetness level, it would be medium to medium high sweetness level, but yet there is a very good acceptable medium plus acidity that gives a weight lifting to it. there's no evidence of tannins. The alcohol level would be medium. In terms of the body and the body intensity would be medium, medium plus. I would say it reflexes back to the nose characteristics. It has more dry fruit characters. Sultana get more prunes, plums, and also there is hints of orange blossoms. So there's also some lemon zesty, ripe lemon, cooked lemon zest character. So if I would pair a nice pudding or a nice cream would be very nice for this dessert wine. The first beverage, I just need to say the name. Fortified wine, Martini Rosso, I would say. It would be an aromatic fortified wine. Years-old whiskey from Islay, I would say, a very more peaty, strong character. A sweet liqueur, Galliano. Revising back to the first white wine, I would say it would be a young, vibrant vintage wine. It would be in between 2008 and 2009. The sweet wine, I would say it would be from a late harvest Gewürztraminer and from South Africa. How many more minutes do I have?
Stop.
Thank you.
So now you will have 3 minutes for the service of a bottle of champagne. So have a look, all the material, and then tell me when you are ready. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Good afternoon, Mr. John. Mr. John, this would be the Nicolas Rouillet which you have actually ordered. It's a non-vintage brut. So may I open it for you? Ma'am, this would be the Nicolas Rouillet which Mr. John has actually ordered. Would you please allow me to try the wines beforehand, the champagne beforehand, so I can ensure the condition and the temperature would be fine for you while your dining experience? Thank you. Thank you, Mr. John. Condition of the cork is perfectly fine. Just let me take a look and see. Wonderful. Mr. John, have a try to ensure the condition of wine is okay and the temperature. I'll just pour half a glass of it, so just to ensure temperature is consistent. So just chill it a little bit more for you. Will it be okay? Would you like me to add a little bit more or just leave it chill first? Thank you.
What is Champagne Blanc de Blanc?
Champagne Blanc de Blanc is actually from the Champagne region. It's from France. So it's only used for 100% Chardonnay from the Champagne region. So I would say, apart from Pinot Noir and Pinot Meunier, only Chardonnay is allowed to use in Blanc de Blanc.
What food would you recommend with rosé champagnes?
If I would choose a rosé champagne to pair with my food, I would actually go with something a little bit more, oily, more fatty. I would actually choose maybe a scallop. A cream-based scallop would be really nice. So a sautéed scallop comes with a cream-based sauce, a carbonara cream-based sauce. So that would be really nice with a tinge of salt with it. Would just be perfect.
Thank you.
Just come in. So I will give you the wine list, and
Do I need to put
no, here, from here. You have to look at the public, of course. Speak loud because they don't hear very well because of the noise. And
Hello.
okay. So this time you will have 10 wines. You have to find 5 mistakes only, and make their correction.
Yes, sir.
Is it clear?
How many minutes?
3 minutes,
3 minutes
only,
I just need to find 5.
and find only 5 instead of 10.
Yes, sir.
More difficult, maybe.
Very
So tell
difficult.
me when you are ready.
I thought everything was going to find. Sure, I'm ready.
Okay.
Wine number 7, a 1997 Fattoria Zabina Pietramora, Toscana, Italy. It's not from Toscana. It's actually from the southern part of Italy. If I'm not mistaken, it should be Umbria. Wine number 10, 1998 Pago de los Capellanas, Tinta de Pai, Ribera del Duero, Spain. In normal circumstances, they do not actually implement or put the Tinta del Pai on the wine. Domaine Vaccarini is not actually from Sonsé Roux. It's not actually from Sonsé. It's actually from one of the sub-district in Loire Valley, but it's not from Sonsé Roux. If there's a stated for the Snoku late harvest, Tokaji, Hungary, it should be stated within the sugar level of it. So there's either 3 putoneos, 4 putoneos, or 5 putoneos, or the Azu Essencia. So if it's stated late harvest, you should actually put the indication of it. Chateau Palmer, Deuxième Cru, Margaux, France. It's not Deuxième, it's 13e Cru, Margaux, France. Is that more than enough? Fine?
Thanks. So next test, you have to come to this table. There are 4 customers. They have a menu already chosen. You have to suggest the wines, several wines. They will ask you some questions too, and you will have 6 minutes this time.
6 minutes. Yes, Mr. Giuseppe.
So I'll give you the menu, and when you are ready, I'll give you the menu.
Yes, sir.
Okay, start.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. Julian, and welcome to Vintry Cellars. I will be recommending some of the food and wine pairing for you this evening. So for the first course, which you have actually ordered, which is the warm baked aubergine with goat cheese and spinach, I would actually recommend you to start with something bubbly, something a champagne. Would it be okay for you all? So have you ever actually tried a bottle of grower champagne? A bottle of grower champagne in normal circumstances in the normal countries, you don't normally find a grower champagne wine. So one of our signature that we have actually imported from France, it's 100% grower champagne. It only produces in their own vineyard itself. So he has two significant vineyards from the Vaccarini and Ambonnet. So I would say you can actually try out Ugly champagne, which is a brut traditional, and it only produces 100% from the Grand Cru grape variety in Champagne, and it has an extended on lease to it. So I would say if you have a very well structured champagne, a well characteristic, well nice finished character, I would actually go well with your goat cheese and spinach, which is a little bit more creamy, more stronger character. So the freshness, the acidity of the Ugly would be very, very nice, and yeah, should try a really nice grower champagne to start off. On the second course, which you have actually ordered, which is three different types of dim sum: the pork sticker, char siu bao, and prawn dumpling. So I would actually suggest to you something a little bit more fresher in characteristic. So as you know, char siu bao is a little bit sweetish, and then pork sticker is a little bit sticky, and then there's honey coated with it. So I would actually think maybe I have actually just imported a very nice indigenous grape, which is actually from Hungary. So a Fumin would be a really nice white wine that you actually start off with your dim sum. So a single vineyard from the sub-district of Tokai, from MAD, M-A-D, MAD. So its wine Sipsi is actually a very famous producer. In normal circumstances, Fumin it's very sensitive to noble rots, but Iswan is a type of winemaker. He produced a very classic dry Fumin, very nice minerality to it. It has a very good great fruity character. It cuts straight to for something a little bit more heavier characteristic that you're actually looking at. So I would actually think that a vintage 2008 is much more fascinating. The previous year, which I've actually tried, the 2007, is a little bit more basic. So the one that I've actually just carried, the 2008, would just be nice for your pleasure for the dim sum. So on the third course, the Agnolotti, a pasta made with eggs stuffed rabbit, flavored with sausages, Parmesan cheese, eggs, and shaved truffles. Maybe we can go to a region, a small region from Spain, Biezo, linking to the river of Minho. So I would say a very nice Descendientes de José Palacios, Cruiron Las Lamas, a slightly younger vintage, a vintage 2006 would be a very nice one. So it's from 100% Mencia grape. So it's one of the signature indigenous grape that you can actually get. So it's slightly on the northwestern part of the Spain. So it has a very diminishing blue fruit characteristic, velvety. So it has a very heavy strength that actually goes well with the rabbits, the stuffed rabbits with your Agnolotti. So on the fourth, the tubo with red wine sauce with white truffles. Let's try something a little bit more special. I would actually think there was one wine that really fascinates me. There's from the Oregon region. The Oregon region, there's one producer called Domaine Serran. Domaine Serran produces mainly Pinot Noirs, but this type of wines is really fascinating. It is Cue Blanc, a vintage 2006, which I'm actually carrying currently. It's 100% Pinot Noir, a whole clustered pressed grape, but it's a white Pinot Noir. So the white Pinot Noir of the Cue Blanc would go really well with your tubo and the red wine sauce. So I would suggest something more heavier character wine, but yet you have a white wine to go after your Mencia. And last but not least, I would actually suggest to have a full bottle of Pedro Ximénez for your cheese platter and your black sesame paste Chinese pancake. So both of these you can actually order a very nice 500 milliliter wine from one of the producer. The producer is very funny. They are a bunch of connoisseurs, so they tend to hop around and buy people's Pedro Ximénez. So it's from the producer called Equipo Navazos La Bota de Pedro Ximénez. So it's a Bota 25. So it only produces 1,500 bottles throughout the world every year. So it's a very good value wine to try out for your wine.
Sorry, stop the time. No questions.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now, last test will be the decanting of a bottle of red wine. So check again what there is there, and when you are ready, tell me. So I will start the time.
5 minutes.
And you will have 5 minutes this time.
Yes, I'm ready, sir.
You're ready? Okay, go.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, Mr. Julian. Good evening, sir. Good afternoon, Mr. Julian. This is the bottle of wine which you have actually ordered, the Peter Cum from Biezo. It's 100% Mencia grade, vintage 2007. Can I open it for you? Sir, ma'am, this is the bottle of wine which Mr. Julian have actually ordered. The condition of the cork is okay, so I would like to let you take a look at your cork. Your corks. If you do not mind, please allow me to try the wines beforehand. The wine condition is good. I will start my decantation now for you, Mr. Julian. So a young vintage Mencia would have a reasonably sediments with it. So I would actually say that, yeah, I would like to decant at the same time to let it breathe at the same time also. So yeah, decantation would actually be necessary for a young Briezzo. Mr. Julian, I'd like you to try wines beforehand. Have a try, sir. Thank you. Mr. Julian, here you are. I'll just put the decanter by the side of the station, so when you need more, I'll just automatically refill it for you. Enjoy. Bon appetit. The food will be served in a short while.
I have one question for you. Can we decant all the type of the wine? Like, can we decant some champagne, some white wine?
White wine, it depends. Just give me 1 second. It depends on the wine structure that you're actually looking at. I would actually say in some situations, an aged white wine, I would normally suggest to decant also. And also a champagne, yes, definitely. If it's a really, really aged champagne, yes.
Okay,
You should.
thank you very much. Finished.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our fourth and final candidate.
So welcome. I will explain you which will be the test tonight.
Yes.
So we'll start with the blind tasting there on the table down there with 3 wines where we have to make the recognitions. Sorry, we have to make the description. Sorry. And then we will have 3 beverages. You have to identify what they are.
Yep.
Altogether we will have 12 minutes, 9 minutes. We can share 9 minutes
9 minutes.
for the wines, 3 minutes for the beverages. Altogether 12 minutes. After 9 minutes, I will tell you, if you go over, I will tell you that you will have 3 minutes left.
You would remind me 3 minutes.
I will remind you, okay?
Yeah.
When you finish, you come on the side, you will have the champagne service. 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Then you will have correction on a wine list with mistakes. 3 minutes again. Then you go back to the table with the customers. You will have to do the matching with the menu.
Sure.
Okay, and then last test will be decanting a bottle of red wine, 5 minutes.
Yep.
Sometimes you will have some questions.
Yeah.
When you are ready, tell me.
Sure. Yes.
Okay, go.
On the first wines, the appearance of the wine is clean, it's good conditions. Intensity looking at medium, and the color we actually start with a little bit of a peel with a hints of yellow, and then followed by a bit of hints of greenish and a bit water in the rim. The sign of the usefulness on the wines. On the viscosity of the wine, we're looking at pretty much on the medium minus. On the nose, first impression on nose is clean, it's good conditions. Intensity of the wine looking at very much on medium plus. At the first impression of the wine, you get actually very focused, very strict to the fruit characters, and you actually got actually very clean and good condition as well. You get very fruit characters, and actually begin with this a bit of honey and toast, a bit of toastiness, and then a bit of honey and a bit of butterscotch as well, a lightly touch of butterscotch. And then actually we followed by a bit of fruit characters such as a touch of apricots, and then have the second primary. They have a little bit of herb impressions such as dill, a bit of chamomile as well on the palate. First of all, the wine is clean in good condition. It's a dry white wine with medium plus acidities, medium length, and intensity. Looking at medium plus as well. Overall, the integrated very well, and the palate as well. You get a bit of touch of toastiness and a bit of hints of honey as well, and actually complement very much again the palate as well. As well as you get a bit of warm sensational and then burning like a toastiness found in the palate as well. It's actually indication of the oak content in the wine as well. The body of the wine, we are looking at medium plus body wines. First of all, I would say, on the first conclusion of the wine, I would say I will serve it in the slightly bigger glass, allow the air will go in to accelerate more. Decanting is definitely enough, and decanting actually necessary. I usually recommend double decanting to serve in the wine. And aging potential, you can see this actually can age for another 5 years from now. In the food wise, they actually want to go with a little bit of more heavier dish, or actually a very simple and sweet such as sashimi. But you can actually be aware with something more fuller body sashimi such as salmon or tuna as well. On the conclusion of the wine, I would say this wine is come from a young vintage wine, looking at 07 or 08 vintage, come from I would say a newer wine come from a Chardonnay grape varieties. The country we're looking at very much at America, yeah. For America, and the vintage as 2007 and 8 at newer wine, America and Chardonnay grape varieties. On the second reds, the appearance of the wine is clean, it's good conditions. The intensity of the wine, looking at mediums. Color actually, we begin with a dark red, followed by a bit of ruby, cherry, and then a bit of the purple in the rim as well. On the viscosity of the wine, we're looking at pretty much on medium plus. Viscosity is actually very high, but I would say medium plus. On the nose, first impression on the nose is clean, it's good conditions. Intensity looking at mediums, very outspoken, and the first nose you actually get a very earthy characters with a little bit of leathery and a bit of fur and anime, although a very over style to me. And actually you got a bit of hints of aromatic, and then followed by a little bit of this second primary, which is fruit character, cherry, raspberry. I would hardly see any wood content on this wine. They might, but I hardly can see in the nose. On the palate, is clean, it's good conditions. The intensity looking at medium plus. Actually, the wine actually have a dry, have a hint of sweetness, medium body. Acidity, tannin looking at very much mediums. Acidity looking at medium as well. The length actually complement very well. Actually, medium actually push forward on the very good structure of this red wine. In the palate as well, I would say this wine have a little bit of earthiness, a bit of salty impression like mineralities, and then followed by a little bit of fruit characters, a bit of cherry, and a bit of pencil shaving as well. They most probably have wood content in the palate in there. The tannin actually medium to mediums, and you get a bit of cherry as well, a little bit of earthy characters as well, pretty much you get in the nose. On the conclusion, I will jump to conclusion now. The wine actually looking at vintage 2006 to 7, come to the over, I would say come from French, and Cabernet Franc will be a grape varieties. On the third wine, the appearance of the wine is clean, have the evidence of CO2 or a little bit of barbie on the glass, but yes, it's still clean, it's still good conditions in the nose, in the side. And the color actually, we actually start with a little bit of intensity very high, start with a bit of deep golden color, a bit of towards the bit chamomile color, and a bit of watery in the rims as well, a bit of no greenish in the rims. And the viscosity of the wine, we're looking at pretty much on the medium plus, and the nose. First impression, the nose is clean, it's good conditions. Again, intensity looking at medium plus, very outspoken. Again, the first primary nose, you get a very honey, a bit of oatiness as well, a bit of these botrytis characters attack in the glass. Most probably in the wine that you have a little bit of botrytis characters, a bit of furry. And then you come with a bit almonds, a little bit of marzipan as well. You get a bit of crystallized sugar, which come with very sweet kind of things, which is like kind of aged with oak, or a little bit with oak, give it a bit more honey as well. On the palate, in the palate is clean, it's good conditions. The wine is sweet with medium plus acidities, medium plus, actually very high in acidities. It's a full bodies. I would say medium to full bodies. The length actually very long, it's actually still lingering there. It's complement very well with the acidities and the body, give a very good structures, keep coming and coming again. First of them, you get a very saltiness, a hint of saltiness in the wine. Maybe it's a terroir of the soil actually effect on the wine, which is give a bit good impressions, mineralities. Again, you will get a bit of honey on there, really a butterscotch as well, and a hint of sweetness and crystallized sugars as well. On the conclusion of the wine, I would say this is a over wines come from a vintage of 2005 to 2006 vintage. Over wine, I would say it's a Riesling, which is have a lot of acidities to support on this wine. Why it's a Riesling? Again, I would say it's come from Germany kind of things, kind of wine, which is you have like a Beerein Auslese, which is, no, it's Auslese level, which is the kind of sweetness have 21 kmw. On the general, I would say this wine, I will serve it in temperature slightly colder, 8 to 10 Celsius of wine, Celsius of degrees, which is serving in the slightly a normal glass to keep the wine portion small, keep it cool. And again, I would say this wine is definitely will decant much more, you get a bit more benefit. In aging potential, I would say this wine definitely can age for another 5 years from now, or maybe 10 years if you keep very well. In terms of food pairing, you actually can come with a very simple dish like a souffle or a kind of like a tarts, honey tarts, almond tart as well, because they're almond flavor to complement with this wine. Yes, I have time. On the red, on the conclusion of the wine, I will serve this on the 18 Celsius of degrees, serving in the slightly bigger glass. Will be a medium glass will be benefit. Decanting definitely needed, but not too much. And aging potential, I will say this one can age for another 5 years from now. To be aged. And the food pairing as well.
3 minutes.
On the first, it's a Peter. It's a Peter Campari. The second one is definitely from tequila. It might be wood, but because of spiciness there, tequila. And the last one, chocolate hint flavor. It can be a very sweet. It can be aged rums. Or a cognac. I will tell you later. Okay, we'll tell you later. It's a aged rum.
Finished? Okay, please on time. Please. So now you will have 3 minutes to open and serve a bottle of champagne. So have a look. Bottle, yes, it's there. So have a look, everything before to start, and then you tell me when you are ready.
Yeah, sure. Can I open? Yep. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. May I know who was sent to? To you, sir?
You have ordered a bottle of champagne, which is Nicolas Foyat from Champagne Roots. Excuse me, sir, here's the cork. You like to taste too much? Yeah. I just keep it a very small portion of champagne, so ensure the champagnes keep chill and cool and enjoy the lovely afternoons. Yep.
Okay, what is Blanc de Blanc champagne?
Blanc de Blanc champagne is actually a white champagne or a white wine only made from the white grape. In this case, in Champagne, we're talking about Chardonnay grape varieties to make into a sparkling wine from Champagne.
What food would you recommend with a rosé champagne?
Rosé champagne, that usually I would like to put it a bit more flavor on there, like a starter like a chilled duck, slightly chill on it. You charcoal in a chill on it, come with a bit of rosemary sauce, come very long as well. Yep.
Thank you.
So let's go to the next step. So, now in front of the public. So you will have the wine list, 10 wines. You have to find 5 mistakes and make 5 corrections.
Yep.
And you will have 3 minutes.
5 corrections.
Only 5.
Yep.
More difficult.
Yes.
Yes. Are you ready?
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
Go.
Yep. First of all, number 4, Laurent Perrier Grand Cicier is not a vintage; it's a non-vintage, a non-vintage Grand Cicier, so it's no vintage there. Chateau Parme is not. Chateau Parme is not this number 2. It's not a number 2nd grow. It's a 3rd grow. Number 6, which is a good vintage in 82. 187 Fortress. Number 3, this Noka is actually a Tokaji, so you usually mention the level of Potinus there rather than the late harvest. Number 9, 2010 Skanderlock Nackenham from Reinheisens. It should be released now because it usually age a bit more to release maybe in the next years, at least for 2 years aging before they release the wines. This is what I believe.
Okay, stop.
Yep.
So now, here you have 4 customers in your restaurant. They have already chosen the menu. They will ask you to make matching with some wines. And
Yep.
you will have 6 minutes to do the test.
6 minutes. Yep.
I give you the menu. It's here. Okay.
Yep. Sure. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Peter. We will wine sommelier tonight. So I have the menu to you. So I just quickly go through review. If you want to start with a bit of aperitif or sparkling still water, that please to let me know. We're pleased to serve you. We have a good selection of sparkling wine and still and sparkling water as well. So first of all, that you have a warm baked aubergines with goat cheese and spinach. I prefer actually to serve you the 3 type of dim sum first as a starter, if you don't mind. So you actually start with the white wine first, then move on the red wine. So the three type of dim sum, which is kind of heavy and blend of two, that usually I would love to serve you like first of all a Pinot Noir. They actually come well with three types. First of all, I love to serve you from Canada, from Ontario, the winery called Le Clos de Jordans. It comes from a specific area called 20 Miles Bench, a single vineyard. This Pinot Noir actually rare light bodies, a kind of rare good combination of old and new world. So actually a dry red wine have a touch of acidity as well. Actually come through with the prawn and the char siu bao is actually a red with a hint of sweetness. Actually come very well with the Pinot Noir. And the vintage I would like to recommend to you is 2006. Just perfect to drink now. No need to decant and serve straight away. Yep. Sure. And the second one, the warm baked aubergine with goat cheese. It's just kind of interesting to serve you this. A Blaufränkisch from Middle Burgenland from the winery called Hendrich, just converted to biodynamic reasoning. Again, it's slightly fuller body than the Pinot Noir. You get a very high acidity as well, a much more fuller body to this Pinot Noir who push, because aubergine is a slightly more heavier body. So you need a kind of slightly full body, yet you have an acidity as well to clean away the cod cheese and the spinach as well. Kind of blend very well. And the vintage I will serve to you a kind of very young 2008, so to keep the acidity level slightly high to blend with the cheese and the aubergines. On the spaghettis or the pasta, which is made with rabbit and flavor with a bit of Parmesan cheese, just tempted me to move you to Italy as well, to the area like Tuscany, which is a Chianti Classico. From this, one of the oldest winery in the world, some people say, in Italy. It's called Broglio. Ricasoli, Baron Ricasoli, the wine is Broglio. It's actually a Sangiovese blend with some complement grape varieties like can be a Canaiolo or a Cabernet Sauvignon. First of all, because the body have a very high tannin on there, a very fruitful and acidity as well to blend with this a different flavor of this different flavor of the food, as well as they actually have a kind of a combination of older and newer in this wine as well. Get a bit more fruit characters and a bit of earthiness found in this wine. Tuborg with red wine sauce that we're already in Italy, so we just move away from Italy. I will want to bring you to Spanish, new regions that discovered recently and been famous by Abuelo Palacios. The region's called Biaxo, and the grape variety is called Mantia, or some people call it Mancia or Mantia, whatever. The vintage is 2006 vintage. It's a fully biodynamic wine again. This wine is one of the most fruitiest red wine that you found in Spanish. Again, have a very nice body, medium to full bodies. It got a very nice acidity level as well to come with this to fish, the Tuborg of course, and the red wine as well, a bit turkey, and the white truffle will be a bit more body on there. And cheese platter. Cheese platter, you can actually come with the off-dry white wines. I want to bring you to Australia now, one of my favorite regions. A blend of Viognier and Masson come from this winery called the Ehrenberg, and the specific wine called the Hermit Crab. Viognier and Masson actually been well known, a bit more fuller body, and this wine is slightly fuller body, and the palate actually got a very aromatic, very blend of honey and massabian as well. And the wine and the palate actually off-dry, actually have enough body to push over the blue cheese as well, to balance up it, and it got a hint of acidity as well, and it's because of the winery near to the sea, so actually get a bit of minerality or saltiness as blend with the cheese as well. And the last one, black sesame pasta Chinese with the vanilla ice cream. Before move on the dessert, actually I want to recommend you a palate cleanser from Japanese, which is called Yuzuzu. Kobe Sushinkan, which is a lime sake, a sake based with the limes, which is Japanese lime, to clean up very nice acidities. I found it very interesting to clean up before to move on dessert. And the last one, the black sesame paste Chinese pancake. You can come with a nice, like what we have just now, which is the Tisnoka, Tokaji, which is a royal Tokai. Because the black sesame actually very high, a very heavy, you need something wine very high, which is, I don't serve you, 4 Putinos will be fantastic. We pair with this one. You have a little bit more body to balance with the sesame paste, and then vanilla ice cream as well. Yep. And to end up, if you want something more like a more nasty, like a whiskey, we have a good selection from whiskey, which is something like Anika or Santonori or this Yamasaki as well. A single malt whiskey, which is available as well from Scotch.
And we don't want to drink too much today. Can you recommend only one wine to go with the menu?
If I want to recommend one wine, I would like to recommend. You have any preference on white or reds?
White.
Whites. Again, white. I would love to serve you a bit more. Have a bit of hint of sweetness again, which can come with all this wine, which is a more harmony with this all wine. A Germans, perhaps.
Finish.
Finish.
No, say the name and finished.
Okay. We have a Germans. Not so sweet, have a hint of sweetness from Rheingau. The winery called Scholas Wallatz. The sweetness actually cabinet, hint of sweetness, yet you have acidities. Pretty much can go around with the food, play around with the food as well.
Okay. Too much. Finished.
Yeah?
We have to stop.
Yeah.
The name.
Okay.
Now, you have 5 minutes to make to decanter the bottle of wine to this table. Okay.
Yeah.
Look everything again.
Yeah.
No, just look first.
Okay.
Don't do. Are you ready?
Yeah, I hope so, yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
You can start. Go.
May I know who's the host? Sure. Sure. Excuse me, so this is the wine that I ordered. 2007 Pitaciums from Biazzo, Mantia grape varieties. So there are no sediment in this wine, but decanting definitely will be benefit of this wine. So intensify, allow the air go into the wine.
I have one question. Is it possible to decant all the type of wine, like some champagne, some white wine?
You can technically decant all the wines. It's not only to separate the sediments, but actually to intensify, allowing the air to go in there. But usually we, in terms of champagne, it can be in some cases, which is very young, but usually I'm not recommended. But red, white, dessert, and kind of still wine, you can benefit from decanting to allowing more air to go in to intensify the wine. Yep.
Can you tell me more about this one? The Biazzo?
This is one of my favorite regions, come from Biazzo, very northwest regions, which is very near to Riyadh spices as well. The grape varieties of Mantia, which is Mantia, if I say it again, is one of the fruitiest grape varieties in Spanish, medium body to full body, have a very nice acidity as well. And this area just recently been promoted to TO. And one of the names you shouldn't be forget about Piazzo is Avaleo Palacios, which is it make Piazzo to the world map, make into this wine. And Mantia now become a very friendly and famous, kind of very friendly wine to most of the food as well.
Okay, thank you. Everything is finished.
Thank you.
Before to go away, I would like to tell you which were the beverages that have been tasted by the 4 candidates. So the white wine was a French wine, Côte du Rhône 2009, Château de Saint-Cosme, Le Poste. So from white wine from France. The second one, the red wine, was the Zinfandel 2008 from California, Ravenswood Vintners Birds, if I read right. The last wine, was the sweet wine, was the Alsace Grand Cru Clos Saint-Landen, Pinot Gris 2001. The 3 spirits, well, the 3 beverages, not really all spirits. The first one was Campari. The second one, José Cuervo Special Tequila. The third one, Matusalem Classico Rum. Good evening. I've seen many competitions since I did mine in 1978 as international competitions and countries competitions. So I've seen many sommelier and I've seen how some of them, they grow up, they have increased, they have become really very good professional in the world. And today, for the first time in Malaysia, I've seen how the sommelier here, they have been acting during the competition. I've seen their knowledge, I've seen their interest and passion, and they're willing to improve what they are already doing quite well. Comparing to other Asian countries, I can say that the level is good, it's really good. Of course, something to improve because you are new in this profession, and there is a lot to do, of course, as Rod just said. So I wish that you will keep this interest in this profession, in your future also, because it could be your future one day, in either in the profession, either into the competitions. There are 2 different things, but also always the competitions, they'll help to improve the profession for everybody, the one that is competing, the winner, but also the other one participating. Because as somebody said when we did a few years ago a competition in Greece, it was the country of the Olympic Games, he said, for the ancient Olympic Games was important the participation to the games, not the winner. So I can say it could be the same also for the sommelier. It's important to participate, to improve themselves. Of course, it must be a winner in a competition, so it's always like that. But the fact that already that you participate, you do something, you do it with a lot of interest and the willing of to improve, it's already a good basic thing for the future. So I wish you will go on this way. I think you have good guides with your president and all the collaborators that I've met in these days. You're on the right way. Just go on, and your future will be yours. Thank you.
And can I now also have the 4 finalists? Rajeshwaran, Edmund Liew, Yew Kong, and Peter Teng. So now I will hand it over to Rod to announce the winners.
Like I said, the final today, I think most of us have witnessed the final, and I think it's pretty grueling. And I really respect the candidate for being able to actually do it in those kind of demanded time that they've been asked to do. At my age, I probably take a much longer time to finish one task. So congratulations to 4 of you. You all have really done well, and I think that you all have really set the benchmark in Malaysia and probably even in Southeast Asia. There's a lot of people talking about our Malaysian candidates, and I'm very proud of what we see not only today, we also seen in yesterday with the potential, the upcoming candidates. So we will start with the 4th placing. The 4th placing, that doesn't make that the person is a loser. In fact, because so demanding. In fact, when we were doing the point marking, it was very, very, very close, the overall scores.
Okay, for the 4th place, we have a certificate from the Sommelier and 2 bottles of wine. And 4th place goes to Yew Kong. Now the second runner-up will receive a little trophy, a medal, bronze medal, a certificate, and this person will get to represent Malaysia in the Southeast Asian 2011 Sommelier competition in Jakarta in November. And the second runner-up is Edmund Liew.
The moment we've been waiting for looks like a little bit familiar. Okay, to be frank with you, what we have done after marking the scores and so forth, the finale score was, the difference was actually just 2.5 difference in points. Okay, so Ruben will tell you what the score, and I'll tell you what's the prizes, and I will announce the winner.
For the first runner-up, there will be a trophy, a silver medal, certificate, as well as the person will represent Malaysia at the Asia Oceania 2012 Sommelier competition in South Korea. And for the champion, of course, there will be a trophy, a challenge trophy, as well as a medal, certificate, and this person will represent us at 2 competitions, which is in South Korea, the Asia Oceania Sommelier competition 2012, and this coming November, the Southeast Asian Sommelier competition. By the way, Peter was the winner of the first Southeast Asian Sommelier competition last year. So Malaysia won the first ever Southeast Asian competition, and this year's winner will represent us in Jakarta in November this year. So now I'll hand it over for the finale and the pinnacle of the competition over these last few days.
Okay, the moment. The winner for the Malaysian Best Sommelier Championship 2011 goes to Rajeshwaran.
And of course, let us not forget Peter. He understands the feeling because last year the roles were reversed. Last year Peter was champion. Rajesh was first runner-up, correct? Yeah. So the roles are reversed. So ladies and gentlemen, our former champion, I think 2012 in South Korea, we're really going to have a good team there because Rajesh and Peter will be representing us there. And I think it's a very, very strong team. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to propose a toast to our judges, the organizing committee, and of course to all our 4 finalists and the winner of this year's Best Malaysian Sommelier Competition. Cheers. Judges, thank you very much. Can I ask the finalists just to be on stage? Judges, thank you. You may take a seat. Okay, we just want to take a group photo with all the participants who are still here. Can we get all the participants, all the other 11 participants? Thank you very much. Please have a seat. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end, but just before we close, I'd like to invite Rod to say a few closing words.